Welcome, everyone, to the Caffeine Confessionals podcast, episode 2, focusing on MTV's The Challenge. We are going to be breaking down this season's male cast in this video. I am Allan and Nikki. You may know me from Twitter. My articles are my face. Here is my co-host, the lovely, the beautiful, the brilliant, the Canadian, Nikki Sin.
Hi, everybody. You may know me from thenikkisin.com or the Nikki Sin on Instagram or the Nikki Sin on Twitter. I like to always be branding, ABB.
No, excellent branding. Also, if you go to caffeineconfessionals.com, you'll have links to our podcast where we are on Spotify and Buzzsprout. Still awaiting acceptance on Apple. It was very difficult for me because I've never owned an Apple product. Actually, that's a lie. I owned an iPod Nano in 2007
Oh,
or 2008.
I'm
And
all
so
Apple.
yeah, they asked me for an Apple ID, and I was like, I have no, what is that? And I had to create a whole Apple account on all my Windows stuff. A lot of hoops I had to jump through. Wasn't that difficult, but we will be on Apple soonish. And I want to say thank you to everyone who subscribed and listened to the first podcast. We actually had like I wasn't expecting any listens on Spotify, but we got like 60 listens on Spotify out of nowhere, even though I wasn't really advertising
Great.
that. That was great. That's awesome.
I prefer Spotify. I know I was just like, oh, I have like all Apple products. Like I have an iMac and like a MacBook Air and an iPhone and AirPods. And it sounds like I have money, but I don't. Um, but I like prefer Spotify because I can use my Google Home to like play any. I'm just making sure I didn't trigger it to play something.
I agree. I love Spotify. Huge game changer. And also just all the ways you could stream it, just from like phone to TV to everything.
It's great.
Though my friend did play a joke on me where he would go to his, because I had a friend staying with me this summer, and he would leave his Kindle somewhere in the room on very low volume. And then from where he was at his girlfriend's house, he would play a song to drive me crazy.
Oh, I like that. That's
Yeah,
funny.
it was real evil. Now, onto this cast.
Oh yeah.
I have rated the 15 male cast members from whom I want to see the most to least. And we're going to start with the least. So we're going to go least to most.
Okay. Worst to
And the
best.
first person I'm going to say at 15 is Wes. Because even though I'm a huge Wes fan, he's one of my favorite players
What?
of all time. It's been 4 seasons in a row for him. And before, he used to take breaks and he used to feel special. But when you come on again and again, it lessens how special you are.
Yeah. My thing with Wes is like, I'm wondering if he's too old for the show now, and I don't mean like Darrell is 40. He's not too old for the show. I think that Wes is too old in like reality TV years.
A
So
bit.
he's
I
not
would
like he's not
say
like caught up on like what reality TV personalities are now.
a bit. I think he's a classical figure. I think he like West at his worst is still better than most people's best. That's
Yeah.
just him. It's just when you compare him to even just West from War of the Worlds 1, is kind
I
of
was
falling
rewatching
off.
that last night.
And he carries that season so hard. He really does.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about him is he hasn't had a showmance since I think X's one with Mandy. That's like almost 10 years ago. So to not have a showmance in 10 years and be relevant still, that's huge.
Yeah. It's he also like I think physically he's one of the most well-rounded players.
Agreed.
Yeah.
He's gotten better at puzzles and little things at an older age, which is kind of crazy. Even Wilder, I found out he had a torn labrum during
Oh,
War of the Worlds 1 and War of the Worlds 2.
I
So
didn't know.
he made it.
Wow.
He finished third place even with the torn labrum.
Whew. I started
I
rewatching War of
wish,
the Worlds one
yeah,
last night.
yeah. I
It's
wish he didn't
research.
pregame so much. That's my big
No.
problem is that he pregames too hard when he's such a naturally good social player. He knows how to have conversations with people. He knows how to connect, and the pregaming I feel like handcuffs him to certain deals and plays and puts a target on him. When in reality, he's great at talking to people. He's great at creating those connections.
I think he takes it to sort of like the Big Brother level where it's like a lot of free gaming.
Great. So at 14, I have Kyle, who in my article, like
Kyle.
I think I said that Kyle is like the perfect reality character, and that you could always bank on him to get a hookup, get into at least one fight,
Absolutely.
and always stay a bit competitive. But for a majority of it, he's kind of boring, and I like Kyle a lot. But yeah, I'm not too excited, especially it's been 6 seasons in a row with Kyle.
I and what I like about him is that because he's like one of the UK kids, he's very much that style of reality TV personality, and so it was weird to me that they chose him from Geordie Shore rather than like I don't know if you watch Geordie Shore. I'm a big fan.
I
There were
get why
like
they got him. He was the one they could afford.
yeah, those UK kids cost a lot. I know Bear costs like $100,000 a season, which people are like, oh, why does Bear cost that much? But Bear's been on like a lot of shows. He was on like Shipwrecked,
Yeah,
Celebrity Big
he won
Brother.
Celebrity Big Brother. He won it. He
Yeah,
was the he was nominated every week, and the fans saved him every week.
yeah, he was dating one of the biggest like UK reality TV stars, Charlotte Crosby from Geordie Shore, for so long, and he hosted just the two of us with her for I think like a full season.
Yeah.
I like
So
Bear. I know he's very problematic,
I
but I like him.
I get it. No. I when I watched X on the Beach UK, I was like, wow, they should bring. I'm like, I don't even know if they could bring this bear guy over here because he's so crazy. And then they did, and it's funny because the bear we get on the challenge is kind of like a PG-13 bear in a lot of
Oh
ways compared
yeah,
to the UK version.
I like
People crazy,
Nick
but he's
Wind him
even
up.
wilder.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
same with Kaylee. Kaylee and Melissa were like so tame on their seasons of the challenge if you
Yeah.
compare to like them being on like
Oh,
Love
for
Island
sure.
or X on the Beach and oh my.
I think Melissa just didn't want to get kicked off again.
Oh, I know. We stand her in Vienna, the
Oh, for
power
sure.
team.
Yeah. 13, I have Joseph Allen.
Oh, very random. Who?
I feel bad for this guy because social media is just flaming this guy for like no reason. They're like, why did they bring this American Got Talent guy? Why is he the only guy smiling in this photo? And he just seems like a nice guy. And I can't, I'm not excited for him. But I feel bad that other people are being so mean to him. But even I'm kind of being mean to him because I just ranked him 13th out of 15 and he's a rookie.
But he doesn't have any like backing. He wasn't like he sung on America's Got Talent, right? Like it wasn't like America's Got Talent. He's really good at like puzzles or stuff from the challenge.
Maybe he's going to sing his way into our hearts this season. You never know.
I sort of thought he might, be in like Tori's eyeline because he seems like
Hmm.
Tori's type.
I get that. Yeah, musician.
Reminds me a bit of like
Uh,
Prosper from Are You the One?
okay. A small. I think feel like Prosper. He felt like a big dude. Joseph kind of seems a bit small.
Yeah, he doesn't. I don't know if he's well suited for the show, but he could surprise you. Like Jasmine and Jonay, their rookie seasons, they shocked all of us.
Yeah, I mean Jay was awesome last season.
Yeah,
So
good.
12th, I have someone who I actually really liked last season, Corey.
I feel you on that. He's taken the now again we stand Nani on this podcast. We stand Nani on this show, but he's sort of taken the Nani route where he's been on a bunch of seasons and he's like really well rounded, but just like can't win.
I was just overall consistently shocked by him, where he didn't make the same like dumb plays that he has over the years. And the thing I hate is lack of self awareness. And Corey just had such a high level of self awareness last season, and the way he played the game made sense and it was clean. And he did. I thought he did the best out of anyone in the final last season. It just came down to that day two puzzle, only getting a 2 minute advantage. I felt bad for him because, I thought Corey maybe deserved to win. And if you look at Corey's stats now, he's like a three-time finalist with like a 6-3 elimination record, and it creeps up on you because I made fun of Corey for a long time, and I'm eating crow now. I'm eating hella crow.
But he wasn't he like a personal trainer at one point? So like he's like physically fit and he's meant for this type of competition show.
A lot of these people in the challenge are like personal trainers or such and such, and a lot of it is aesthetic based, in my opinion.
Yeah,
People like Jenny, where every single
definitely.
meal she has and every single thing she does is committed to fitness, or like Gabby, the new rookie from the UK, like their lives are fitness, and there are people who try to have a part-time fitness hustle. Though Corey did have an ACL surgery years ago, and it looks like he's actually finally recovering from it, and that his cardio is much better now. So
That's good.
good for him. I think he's an actual contender this season, which I never saw before. Yet he is very much becoming a dad, and that's not good for reality television. The Corey that was hooking up
No,
with three girls in one season, that was great. I love that.
that's what I think he's missing.
I just, I don't know. It's weird because I made fun of him so much during that era, and I don't make fun of him now, but I miss that guy. It's mixed, like because I admire the maturity, but it's reality television at the same time.
That's how I felt about Tony, where like I'm like, I don't want Tony to cheat on Alyssa. I like Alyssa. I like that whole love story with Alyssa. If nobody knows what it is, he Tony Tony was on the Real World, and it was the Real World skeleton. So they brought on like people from his past. So they brought back his psycho high school ex girlfriend Alyssa, and they ended up like falling back in love, which I think is like kind of
Yeah.
beautiful. Now they have they have a child together, which is great. But when he was like hooking up with Christina, like episode one of Bloodlines,
Tony's wild. I mean,
I
I
like
wrote my
that.
Ashley preview today, and everyone forgets that Tony and Ashley totally hooked up on Rivals 3.
Uh huh.
And I'm just like, that's just the thing that's forgotten. Like, what? Like that counts. We got it with that scoreboard. It was on TV. I seen it with my eyes.
That is, I have two favorite Ashley hookups. Like, I know it seems off topic, but well, three. So Tony is number three. Number two is Kyle, because that was
Hmm.
just funny, and like I would do the same thing. Number one is Jamie, cousin Jamie.
Oh yeah, the shower thing that put her on the map from the jump.
Loved it. Get it, girl.
I forgot who she was. Like when she showed up, I forgot who she was because I'd seen her real world season just forgot, and I was like, wait, that's the same chick.
She's the only person to ever be like voted out of the real world.
Ryan, the Ryan guy, and Puck, I think too.
Oh, well,
From Orleans. Yeah. I mean, there's some people, but
notably.
we digress. At 11, I have Fessy, and it's part of because of the format, because I think we're getting the Red Skulls back, and I don't think anyone is gonna throw themselves in against Fessy. So I think he's single this season, or maybe was not single. It's unclear. What I do want to say is that he's not a big character. He's a
No.
very good side character who, when D got banned last season, they gave him more confessionals, and he showed a lot of depth that they don't really show with characters. And he talked about his origins and why he wants to win, and that was very endearing. Though he's not going to see many eliminations this season because people are too intimidated by him.
Yeah, I don't. I'm. What are your views on this Red Skull twist? Because I liked it in theory when it was like first announced, and then I was like, well, then there's just so much politicking around like who are we gonna put in to go get their skull?
I think it's an actual like devoid lack of politics, and it ruins the politics and it ruins the daily challenges as well because
Yeah,
people are like, oh, if you win, you could pick your opponent. I'm like, that's like, why would I ever want to win a daily challenge? Like Kyle didn't win any last season, and it didn't hurt him. Uh, War of the Worlds 2, I get why people were mad about it. Like, oh, look at all these people who coast to the final. They coast to the final because they had numbers and they took advantage of the format that MTV created. That's not their fault. That's MTV's fault. And
Yeah,
what MTV did was that they had a gross overreaction to a problem created by themselves and just created a second problem. We needed just a classic regular middle ground. I mean, if those people make it to the final, that's good on them. That's MTV's fault. But yeah, I hate this Red Skull twist.
I don't like. I think it's like a gold skull this season. I don't think they were.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oh, totally different now. Just give it a different color.
I think they were like, oh, there's only 10 schools this season. And I was like, well, there was only 10 schools last season too, if you like actually do the math.
Yeah,
Like in the final, there were 9 people, but Big T got medical DQ, so that was like maybe the extra school that was missing.
it was very frustrating. Fessy, I think Fessy has a pretty good shot. I think much like Casey, he needs to find his challenge personality.
I
Like he
agree.
has.
I love Fessy on Big Brother. He was just a lovable idiot, and
A
I'm
himbo.
afraid, like, yeah, I'm afraid in 2 years when people are just gonna start hating on Fessy, like, oh, he's boring, he's wallpaper, da 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 da. Right now, he's just that like hot guy that people can thirst over, who's also a good competitor. But over time, it's gonna turn.
See, I know that he's attractive, but I'm not attracted to him.
I
Ugh,
understand this is
I'm
good
gonna
art,
get a
but
lot
this
of
is
hate
not
for
the
that.
art for me.
Yeah, I'm like, this is. I can see why people are thirsting over him, but I myself have my thirst quenched just fine from other beverages.
For sure. At 10, I have Meechy.
He's so
And
hot. Meechy, speaking of hot,
I was gonna say, like, this guy is gorgeous. He's just a gorgeous man. And what's funny was that I watched some interviews with him, and every time he would come into this interview, people would be like, "Damn, you're fine." And he's gonna have some hookups this season,
oh,
but he's
I
also a
love it.
small guy. He's also a small guy, so I just want people to keep Michi in the house as long as possible. Just be like everyone, be like, "Hey guys, we're gonna save Michi to the last elimination. Michi, bang away, men, women, I don't care what you like, go for it, buddy."
Shit, get both.
For sure. Did you ever see the Rob Kardashian stuff, the Black China stuff?
Which, oh,
So he's known for X on the Beach as his reality show, but a couple years ago, when Rob Kardashian posted the revenge porn on Twitter of Black China having sex with someone,
which
Michi
is
was the guy in that video.
which is a disgusting thing to do. Never
Yeah,
post
and
that.
yeah, don't ever do that. And I just was wondering if you knew that.
I didn't know that was him. I feel like I should have known
Yeah.
that.
What's crazy is like they did interviews and someone was like, "Oh, I thought it was some other guy." It's like, no, that was indeed me. He was even like, well, like admitting it because for him it was actually positive and that it gave him a little bit more followers, a bit more clout.
Yeah, and that it's sort of. I think this is also going to bring maybe people that watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians are going to start watching the challenge now.
I don't know. I don't think so.
It might invite that.
He actually is a decent musician. Have you listened to any of his music?
Yeah, I wanted to find out like more about him, so I was like trying to do my research, and I was like, okay, X on the Beach, he's that like fills that archetype character for the
I
show.
was shocked. His music is good. A lot of these people on reality TV shows who make music are not good. His music is good.
Is this where we throw shade at Tori's rapping, or?
Whoa, you didn't. You said Tori, and I'm saying Tori right now. Because yeah, her music is not that great.
I'm sorry,
I'm sorry.
sweets.
I think she's good at a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
Rapping
that
is not.
this. I don't know if that's it. Like
At number 9, I have Josh.
I think Josh is perfect for reality TV.
I think he needs to start actually performing though at this point
Oh,
because
physically, yeah, he's a big dude.
it's 4 seasons. You got to win an elimination at this point, or else you're going to be lumped in with the Tyrees and the Dannys forever. And Yeah, it's just you gotta start competing, and that's why I have him at 9. Because as a competitor, he is interesting. He tries to have hookups, hasn't been fully successful with it. The Georgia stuff was kind of cringe, in my opinion.
Oh, it's
Uh,
so cringe. It seemed so like forced and like it seemed like Georgia was like not super interested,
she
but did
definitely had him as his backup,
yeah.
where like
She was
Bear
like,
was the apple of her eyes, and she's like, well, I guess Josh treats me nice. That's kind of cool, which a lot of guys have been through before. You know, that's life.
but and physically he needs to start competing. He lost a tug of war competition to a man with one hand. That War of the Worlds 2 against Jordan. Jordan's a fierce competitor.
Agreed.
He
That was one of those eliminations where I was just like sitting in my home, like, oh my god, how is this? Like, cause spoilers come through my avenue, and I knew Jordan had won, but I remember texting my friend like, I think this is the most impressive elimination win ever.
Oh, absolutely. I was watching it and my partner at the time, I'm like screaming at the screen. I was like, "Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god." He's like, "What? What's so interesting about this?" I'm like, "Look at him like bodying this tug of war." And he was like, "Okay." I was like, "He has one hand." And he's like, "What do you mean?" I was like, "He he only has one hand and he's winning this tug of war." And he was like, "Oh my." I'm like, "Yeah, that's why I'm screaming. Oh my god," at the screen. Cuz I sort of watch it like I'm like watching sports. I'm like
Yeah,
screaming at
agreed.
my screen. I'm like, dig deep,
Yeah, for
dig
sure.
deep.
No, Josh has some strengths. He's good at swimming. He's good with some of the height challenges. He has no balance skills though. That's important to know. And he can't solve a puzzle at all either. And I think that's more of an anxiety problem because he's
Yeah,
very anxious.
yeah, because his rookie season or the World's one, he was like DQ'd
He couldn't solve
before it
that math
even started.
problem. Agreed. He couldn't solve that math problem on the first challenge of Total Madness, where
Oh yeah,
He was in first place from the jump, and then it was a math problem. He was like he just couldn't figure it out. It was pretty simple math problem too.
good. All right,
Number
who's
8,
next?
Leo Rush.
Oh, so I was excited to hear your views on this because you're a huge
Yeah,
wrestling fan.
yes, I am, and I actually was a wrestling fan of Leo Rush. Like 13 months ago, I was sitting in my living room watching Leo Rush win the Cruiserweight Championship, which is, if you don't know what that is, that's like for people who are 205 pounds or less.
Okay,
Those are like the flippy dudes, the guys that do high acrobatic, exciting matches. They're the people who aren't the world heavyweight champions, but they put on the best matches.
all right.
And that's what Leo does. He's like 5'6", 160. And so he's not the image of a wrestler that most people think of. But I've seen this guy just straight up jump over 6 foot tall men, like, just like leapfrog over them. He can do like crazy flips, super cool moves, and he can lift up people who are 200 pounds. Because I physically have seen it.
Oh, I want to see him in a hall brawl then. I want to see him jump
I,
over for a hall brawl.
that's what I've been thinking. Like, if you put him in a balls in, could he like roll, flip over?
Oh,
Because a lot of those, you know, wrestling is fake, but there is a lot of amateur grappling and mat wrestling that is taken into it, and so he knows how to be physical in that aspect. He is also known in the WWE for being a bit like problematic. Uh,
oh,
Not problematic. So ish, I don't know. So when he originally he got signed at like 21, 22, which is really young these days because you got to
part
create
of
like a
it.
resume. Like you have to create like a 10-year resume on the independent circuit and then you get signed to WWE.
Yeah.
He got signed really young because he was just making news really quickly because he was so talented. There was a girl who got released from WWE and he made a joke about her release on Twitter. Uh, and the wrestling world did not take lightly to it because the person just lost their job. And he was off TV for like 8 months. Then he
Ooh.
comes back, goes to the main roster, which is like, where the big stuff's at. He is a manager, which is a person who talks for another wrestler. Because there was this man named Bobby Lashley. He's like 280 pounds, an MMA fighter, giant ripped dude, not a great talker. They give Leo the mic, and he talks him up, and he's the greatest hype man of all time. Meanwhile,
See,
he's on the cruiserweight show. He's doing all this stuff. So he's a great talker. He's doing all this great wrestling once he comes back. And then he gets in trouble because he asked WWE for like a raise because he's doing double duty and he has a family and he wants to be shown more. And that's kind of like being a bit pushy because he's already on troubled water. And I'm doing a lot of summarizing, but this is stuff you need to know because like this is a guy who is very talented, but always comes into conflict.
I think that's sort of like Jordan. It's like
A,
Jordan.
a
Jordan's
bit,
very
yeah.
talented, but he mouth runs and it's going 100 miles an hour, and not every step that's coming out in that run is one that
Yeah, a
people
bit.
want to see.
When COVID hit, WWE decided like, well, we're not traveling anymore. We just have a TV show now, so we're gonna release 40% of our staff, our wrestlers. And since Leo already had, conflict where he asked for like a release, because there was a point where Leo got taken off TV for 7 months, and people thought he wouldn't wrestle again until the end of his contract, and then he came
Oh,
back out of nowhere and then won the title like 2 weeks later because they decided like you know what we'll give him another shot and he's awesome and but then once they were making the releases he was just one of those ones who was on the chopping list because there was problems beforehand.
see, I'm like an old school wrestling. That's
Yeah.
that's I had like all the figurines. My
No,
cousin
I didn't
Jason
get
and
into
I would like.
wrestling
Oh,
until I was 21. Yeah, I got into wrestling like years and it's one of those things where like people are like do you know wrestling's fake? I'm like, dude, I got into wrestling when I was 21. I knew it was fake when I was 3, and I just love the storytelling, the aesthetics. I love like they had entrances, and that's my favorite thing because like, oh man, having your own theme music and cool gear,
oh.
that's what I'm into.
That's what I always ask in my interviews on my blog, thenickysin.com. Like if you could have a theme song, like what would your theme song be? And it's based on that.
Yeah,
Like what
I
like entrance.
oh man. No,
I
even
love
in my
asking people
friend's
that.
Discord, we have entrance music in our Discords.
Of course you do. Of course.
Number 7, Devin.
I don't like Devin. So
The funny thing about me putting him 7 was like originally I had him really low, and then I was like, oh wait, Bananas isn't on this season, and that made him suddenly much more interesting to me because I was like, well, how do you operate without a Bananas on the season? How do you operate with a Wes, who is like one of your best friends on the show?
I Devin Devin falls into the Corey category where it's like I want to see you like actually perform.
I agree. He's gotten in better shape. As a whole, I don't really consider him a serious competitor though.
No, not at all.
Does he have a girlfriend entering this season?
I don't I don't think so. Because he had all that he had all that drama with Marie and Shannon. I think Shannon just had a baby.
Yeah, she did. I was very disappointed because I grew up attracted to Shannon. I say that like I did see her on TV for the first time like 3 years ago, and I was because in my head canon brain I was like, you know what? She lives in LA. I live in the LA area. It's gonna happen one day. Just didn't happen. Anthony
It
Santos,
could.
what Anthony something won. No, it's not happening. I'm out.
Oh, maybe
Uh,
next year, Are You the One Girl?
is there ever gonna be another Are You the One season? I don't know.
I can't see it happening.
Number 6, I have CT, and that's because it looks like he lost weight.
Uh, yeah, he did. He no longer has the dad bod and recently separated.
Is that true?
So on that, like when they were filming, they were separated because now I see like on his wife's on her Instagram, she posted a picture of him.
I always think it's funny when people are like, when is CT going to retire? Because even when I interviewed CT 2 years ago, he said he would retire after he wins another full season, and he did not do that. but I get it because what are CT's life skills outside of the challenge?
Yeah, like what's he?
Does he want to work in construction? Does he want to do that? Like, or in 6 weeks you can make $100,000 for showing up, and then maybe win more in prize money. Like he's got a kid and a wife who he may be separating from. Do you want him to work at Lowe's Home and Garden? Like, what do you want? What do
Yeah,
you want from CT?
and
He's gonna
especially
keep coming on the show.
yeah, and there's like and because of COVID, he can't do like club appearances or like can't do like Challenge Mania, like can't do anything appearance wise. So and he's not gonna like host Entertainment Tonight. He's not. Yeah.
When I interviewed CT, it gave me a really good appreciation for the MTV editing team based on like the way his confessionals come out. Because just talking to him, I was like, ah, man, how would you put this on TV? How would you put this conversation? Like he
Oh.
rambles a lot. Like he's fed some of these lines.
Oh, I really like CT.
I do too, but some of the glamour got taken off from me.
Well, I bet.
Number 5, I have Nelson.
Oh, we know I'm not like the biggest Nelson fan. He's so lackluster in terms of performance.
In recent seasons, yes, I will say that. That's why I have him at 5 because last season he won. Like he literally threw America's Love on the ground and then picked it back up at the last second, and it showed me like I get it. Like I've been in so many relationships where a single like "Hey, how are you doing?" text will just like completely throw away everything of resentment I ever felt towards someone if I really care about them. Like Nelson, like I stand him for so long, and then I just after he cursed out Kayla and some of the girls last season, I was
I
like, I'm
was
done with Nelson.
disgusted. Like Angela Rockstar, like you're disgusting.
Yeah,
Like
and
say it in that tone.
but then he was one of the only people to actually like be honest with Anissa and actually look out for some of like the women in the show where you're like the men who they weren't gonna curse out women like that, but just were gonna kind of underhandedly play them. And Nelson was like, "Hey, you got to do this. You got to do this. You got to like, you know." And that to me was like, "Oh, well, at least he's being real here." And then throwing himself in for Corey, oh my God, I was all in, back all the way. He was the MVP last season. He brought energy and drama to a season that was mostly devoid of it. I just want to see him be a top competitor again because right before he got DQ'd on Dirty 30, he was killing it. He was winning challenges. He beat Hunter in elimination. Like I wrote an article, it's like I think Nelson has become like he became the star of the show at that point.
He really could have. And what I really liked about him was that when he came on there, he was a super fan of the show,
Mm-hmm.
which we don't really get that often with rookies.
I don't know if Nelson was a super fan on Rivals 3. Like I think he didn't know what the challenge was, and then after he went on it, he binged every season. Because you watch him, because he asked like Bananas and Sarah, like, so why are you guys beefing? Like, what's going on between you two? And then the next season, he's like talking about like, yeah, I respect this guy, I respect this guy. Winning
But
the
like,
challenge is like a Super Bowl ring. I like
wouldn't
Nelson though.
wouldn't you if you were asked to be on a show, wouldn't you maybe watch it before you went on?
You should tell the UK people that because half the
Well,
UK people
they've never even
don't
heard
know
of
what
it.
the show is going in.
Yeah, they have no idea about any of this, which is crazy to me because like, don't you want to do like social media stalking before? It's like when you like go when you like meet someone on Tinder or like a friend of yours starts dating somebody new. Like I immediately start social media stalking them. I watch all their previous seasons, so I'll watch all their old stories. I'm like, okay, who's this? What do they do? You gotta get that background. That's how
I,
you can
I just love
politic.
the I just love the blissful ignorance of the UK people of Kyle being like, I didn't know there was competitions on this show.
Uh,
And he finished in second place too on that first season. That's what's even funnier.
what a himbo.
At number 4, I have Leroy.
I love Leroy. I was just watching his rookie season the other day. His
What's
rival
crazy, I
season.
was talking about Fessy earlier, where like eventually the fans are going to turn on him. And I feel like that was happening with Leroy, especially around War of the Worlds 1, 30-30-ish era. And now I feel like the tide's turning back around where like Leroy, he shows that he cares about losing. Like he doesn't like that was like the problem for a lot of the years where people were like, oh, Leroy, he doesn't care if he loses. And I feel like Leroy even felt that way too. But now he's taking ownership of a lot of things where he wants to win the game. He's actively playing it hard. He is taking ownership of his relationship with Cam, where he was a bit like he didn't want to put it out there, and now in the preseason promos, he's actively calling her his girlfriend, which is something I don't ever see Leroy do. And his haircut looks great, and he looks in great
Oh,
shape.
he looks so good.
I'm
He's
just like, old man Leroy is like way more fresh than he's been in years, and that one season break maybe made all the difference. I don't know. He has a different energy this season.
I think the break has been really good for him. I think the taking a break will do the same for Bananas. It's going to do the same for like Polly and Cara.
For sure. Do you like his and Cam's relationship?
I do. I I find it to be one of the more like genuine connections from the show. And like
I've
I
always
totally
been
see where he's coming from, where he didn't want to like be like, yeah, that's my girlfriend Cam, because I feel like he didn't want his whole like storyline on the show just to be like Cam's my girlfriend.
I also think it's just hard to commit when you're Leroy, who lives the Vegas lifestyle, and people come through every weekend want to party with you because you
Not
live
for
in
long.
Vegas.
He's moving to
Yeah, not for
Houston with
long.
Cam.
Moving to Houston, that's a huge jump. I'm really proud of him. Growing up,
Same.
maturing that way. On top of that, I just never really understood him and Cam because I always thought Cam was very business minded and Leroy was very like loves his lifestyle in Vegas. So to see them come together, there's some real love there, and that's really like that's beautiful to see.
I could see them creating like a really unique business together. Because so Leroy's a barber now. He went
Yes.
from America's favorite garbage man uh, to a barber, and Cam has her own wig collection. So I think there could be
Ooh,
like a really cool collab there.
I could see it. I could also not see it, but yeah, you're onto something there. That's actually really cool to talk about, and I do love them now together because I didn't at first, and now I do actually.
I really want to see Nani and Cam be friends
I
because
do
Leroy
too.
is such an important part of Nani's life, and Nani is such an important part of Leroy's life. And I want to see that happen. Like my in my head, my dream scenario this coming season is that Teresa, Cam, and Nani like team up.
I would love that so
They
much,
throw all the
but
shade back,
oof.
you know. Who's next?
At number 3, I have Jay.
I just don't know Jay's a Republican,
Oh wow.
so I'm pulling back my marriage proposal to him.
Okay, okay. You gonna start out slow, maybe just a dinner date at first.
Well, maybe just a discussion on foreign policies and like a layout who Trump really is. But imagine being a
For me,
registered Republican and looking that good. I hate. How does that work?
I don't know how that works, but I am excited to see Jay on the show this season, mostly because he had that tough rookie season where he got thrown in every time the first 3 times, and this season he'll come in with a more veteran status because he has earned his stripes. He's seen 3 eliminations. He's beaten CT, and if you had to like look at challenge history, there are certain people who make big jumps from their first season to their second season, and Jay is someone who is good with puzzles, good swimmer,
Very well rounded.
so yeah, socially and strategically savvy. if someone is gonna make that like big shocking jump from like being an early exit season one to like maybe winning their second season, I think that could be Jay.
Yeah. I I really liked the social game that he was playing. I felt bad for him that like Rogan immediately was like, no, he's hooking up with D. He made out with her like one time. Whatever. Like, get over it.
It was more or less, I think people saw him as the Red Skull because he is like 150 pounds. And that could be a problem again this season, although he has a little bit more clout and respect on his name, a bit better social connections going in.
He's got
And
Natalie
yeah,
Anderson.
for sure. If he can win an elimination, then I like his chances to win the season because he is built for a final. Then again, I wouldn't be shocked for a Fessy to be like, all right, Jay, let's go battle in a hall brawl.
Oh, just snap him like a twig. Poor thing. I can still like see Rogan slamming him on the ground. That was aggressive,
Yeah.
and I also think that perhaps Rogan should have been like
Oh, I don't think so at
disciplined
all.
for it.
I don't think so at all. I think it was a hit. I think Jay should have just thrown the ball and just not even tried. Like
I
I don't know. To me, it was a tackle to me because
Why do you go for round two? Why?
I I can't believe they made that a cliffhanger too.
Oh, and I have a sneaking suspicion this new season, given how long it's airing for, so it's supposed to air from like the 9th of December to like April 14th. Or are we gonna get these cliffhangers where it's like you don't know who gets eliminated and who doesn't?
I would hate that. It makes writing my articles so
Hate
much
it.
harder because you don't really know how to format it. When you have an elimination at the end, you get at least like you get a bookend the article with the elimination.
Exactly, and I prefer the format of like drama, daily challenge, more drama. They go out and do something. Nominations, elimination.
Agreed. In second, I have Nam.
Oh, my future husband. I've been sipping over Nam for I don't know since I saw his cast photo pop up. I had to explain to him what simping was on Instagram. I like commented on one of his pictures and I was like, "Gonna be simping for you all season," and he was like so nice. He's like, "I have to ask you what is simping." He's so made for this
I
show though. He's
I was a bit afraid that he didn't know English because every video I watched him in, he was speaking German. Though I will note, his German is incredible. Sounds really German. Sounds like I was like, man. Some people say German's an ugly language. This man's so beautiful. His German sounds
oh,
beautiful. I feel like I know German, even though I don't know German. When he says it, I'm like, yeah, Nam, go off, hun.
it's like watching like when I try to watch a Spanish or Korean soap opera. I'm like, just like it just sounds so beautiful and it's so. I'm like, yeah, I understand this. I don't.
No, there's a wrestler. Her name's Asuka. She's been given like the free reign the last year or so, just to speak Japanese, just to cut her promos in Japanese, and then maybe she'll say something like a little thing in English. But I'm like, she's speaking in Japanese, and I'll have no idea what she's saying, and I'm like, yeah, she's speaking facts because she's speaking with so much passion and invigoration that I get invested. I just hope that they don't, if Nab's English isn't that great, they don't play it for laughs like they did Turbo a bit.
I felt I hated that with Turbo. The
Yeah,
only
and
the only
people.
one that I thought was funny was when he went on that like in War of the Worlds 1 when he was trying to nominate somebody and TJ was like, "Okay, but who are you putting in?" Like,
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of fans would like, "Oh, this is so cute, Turbo," and I'm like, "No, you're kind of. It's not. It's not what you're supposed to do. They're kind of playing the joke on his English as well. I don't know. That I just hope that again that he is able to blend in. I don't know if he drinks either. Like, I don't think he consumes alcohol because he doesn't eat carbs.
uh,
I mean, there's obviously alcohol that doesn't have carbs,
oh,
but I
yeah,
don't
but
know if the challenge. I don't know if the challenge house has that.
I don't know if our marriage is gonna work that well then. Because like I live off of pasta, so and like I'm not a big drinker, but like I do love champagne and rosé, so
He doesn't have any pics with girls on his Instagram either. I don't know if he's single or not. I think if you're a fitness model, it makes more sense not to have pics with the female on it, so that
yeah.
way you get more female. Like, oh, I could be his future girlfriend or boyfriend. Dream board type stuff.
Yeah, I also don't work out, so you're making me second guess this marriage.
Did you watch his Beastmaster episode?
I did. Oh, I watched like clips of it because I just don't find
Yeah,
that sort of thing super entertaining.
it's crazy because on Ninja Warrior, all the people that do well are like 170 pounds, like 5'9", 170. He's 6'2", 215, and doing that crazy stuff. So that's what wows me because I grew up a huge Ninja Warrior fan, the Japanese version, not the watered down American version.
Yeah, see, I don't like the watered down American versions of things because they all feel like Wipeout to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I like him though. I think he's really good. Like he's really good Asian representation on the show because like I can't remember seeing an Asian male on the challenge.
Yeah, I think the it's something I've been wanting to tweet. Like as a whole, we need more Latino and Asian representation, and a little bit more Black representation too. They did
Absolutely,
well with this cast when it came to Black representation, which is very appreciable. But we need more Mexicans, we need more Latinos, we need more Asian, and we've
absolutely.
gotten 4 Asians in recent years. Two of them were Ninja Natalie and Jen Lee. Uh, Jen Lee was a person, and Ninja Natalie is more disliked than
I
one of the other
can't
Asian
stand
cast
her.
members. She's more disliked than the person who got banned for being racist, which is
Yeah,
Dee, who is Australian, and then our other Asian representative is German. And I'll tell you this, most of my friends in Southern California are Asian. Asian American, and there's so many Asian people you could cast, like out here in America, who have great personalities, who are great athletes, yet they have to keep exporting them. Like the same goes for minorities as well. They like to cast more, you know, um, British people of color or other
yeah.
countries, and I think it's because they view them as exotic. Like, oh, they hit 2 checklist boxes, which is kind of cool in some ways, but in other ways it's a bit denigrating in my opinion because
Mm.
like you have to be like this in order to get cast on the show. You have to be a beautiful person who checks multiple ethnicity boxes in order to be on the show. Well, in America, we have very entertaining people who also fill some of those check boxes who just aren't getting on.
Well, they should just start casting from Big Brother Canada. We're we're
Yeah,
very
Big Brother
diverse.
Canada, Big Brother Canada is like diverse and just people acclaim it like crazy. It's a great reality show. From the like I've watched I think 2 seasons of it.
It's
Oh man, I
fantastic.
love season 2.
I would love to see Ika Wong on the challenge. Love to
Ooh,
see her
yeah.
on there. There's her iconic scene where she either gets like $5,000 or either gets $5,000 and like shreds the letters from home to the rest of the cast. She's shredding it. I do the same thing. I like to classify myself as a nice person. I think I'm a nice person. I'm sure there might be people listening that will disagree if they knew me when I was like 18, but I'm a nice person. I would
Yeah.
100% shred letters from home for $5,000. Yeah, sorry.
Okay. I agree. I agree completely. I'm not gonna say I'm a nice person because I feel like that's libelous, but
I'm
but I agree. Number one, Darrell.
I'm so excited for Darrell to come back. I definitely forgot on Fresh Meat 2 that him and Cara went home first. I was watching it
I
again and
think
I was like,
yeah.
oh, I'm like, okay, wait, what? And then they just
I
went
think
home.
he's so underrated from a commentary standpoint. Darrell is so consistently funny, and he just does these little
Yep.
things in the background of scenes that are just hilarious. On Invasion, when Amanda and Camilla and Laurel were fighting, and they're going crazy in that bedroom, you could see in the doorway, the doors open like the tiniest amount, and you can see Darrell's face in the background behind it.
I love him. He's got the like background jokes like Jemmy. Like Jemmy and Cam will just be like in a doorway, like watching a fight, like
Yeah, there was the episode where the bloodbath, and Amanda wins the first round, and she starts shooting off middle finger pistols at people, and then you can see over they like pan over to the champs and they're commenting, and you can see Darrell just going like pew, 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 pew. And during that elimination too, with the physical one, like, ooh, Amanda's gonna get it. She's gonna snake you. She's gonna snake you. She's gonna snake you. Maybe literal yelling, no, don't let her snake you. And Darrell's like, ah, oh, she's got it. Ah, oh, she's got it. Like just little things
he's
he does like
he's really
that. Oh
funny.
my god, he's so funny. I don't think he gets enough credit for being like, because he's a great competitor. Obviously, we know he kicks ass, but man, he's just so funny consistently over the years. There was the fight he had with Abram on the Inferno too, where Abram was like cursing people out after he beat Brad, and he's like, "Oh, let me get your ass in there. I'll show you what I can do."
Oh, I do miss the psychotic nature of Abram, but that's that's me like wanting the pause on that show.
Darrell also had the funniest Twitter beef with Wes like a year and a half ago. It was a fake beef for Final Reckoning, where they kept making fun of each other on Twitter and Instagram in order to make people think they were going to show up as mercenaries.
Oh, I love it. Like
They
Darrell's
had
so funny.
they had a real life rivalry for like like 7 years, like 6 years, from Fresh Meat One to Fresh Meat Two, and then they did Champs versus Pros together, and Darrell's like, "Oh, you changed."
I think Darrell could easily be like the face of the challenge.
I don't think he takes an active enough role. I think he kind of plays that old man social game, like I'm Darrell, I'm cool. It's hard because he's not the West Bananas type where they make everything about them, and that's part of the appeal of Darrell. Like that's
Yeah,
why people love him. He doesn't make everything about him. At the same time, in order to be that star of the show, you need to be that kind of, I don't want to say asshole, but like you have to have that ego. You have to
yeah,
really want to be the star, and he wants to win money.
yeah. For his family. I also like that MTV's like kind of stirring the pot because they keep showing clips of him and Amber B from Big Brother like cozied up under a blanket. People are like, oh, maybe they're gonna hook up. Like, first of all, he's married. Second of all, two people can be under like one blanket sitting that close, and it doesn't have to be romantic.
Yeah, in one of the clips, I was like, you know what? There's some distance. That's her arm that she's putting over herself right here, and I agree. They are stirring the pot a little. I was like, oof, oof. Amber B's gorgeous though, and we'll talk more about her the
Oh,
next time we do this.
I'm ready. Oh, to talk about the females? Ooh, I was just excited to talk about Nam.
That's also one of the reasons why we did this episode first, because we kind of care more about the female characters because there's more diversity in characters as well. Oh
Absolutely.
no, we froze. Okay. Oh my god, I thought we froze again near the end, and I was like very terrified.
Imagine.
We're letting you in on the inside scoop, people here. I thought the video froze. It didn't. We're good. We're closing up here.
I'm just freezing here
So,
in Canada, just in general.
and
It's snowing
it's
here, so.
actually like it's actually like 55, 60 degrees here today in California, which is like super cold for California. My bad. That's not Celsius. That's like, I don't know, 12 Celsius. I want to say 13 Celsius. I'm
That
guessing.
sounds gorgeous. I'm wearing like a
Yeah.
blanket outfit.
Also, I want to tell everyone. Last week, I had my long ass hair, and I said like I'm here for the long run with this. And then I watched the video, and I was like, ow. Watching my hair move every single time I talk was just annoying as hell, especially when editing. And so, yeah, I got my hair cut for the first time in 11 months. The person who cut my hair, she was like, "Oh, how much do you want off?" And I was like, "About this much off." Like, "Are you sure?" I'm like, "Can you just show me a photo?" And I showed her the photo. She's like, "Oh, I cut your hair last time. Oh, I had a baby since then."
That's how long it's been.
Yeah,
It's
that's how long it
so
was. A whole child has been birthed between when this lady cut my hair, like last time, to
a
now.
new life has been brought into the world since the last time that you got a haircut.
Exactly.
I'm sure my hair will be a different color by next show. I just
Yeah.
dye it a lot.
Eventually, we will have an animation to open these videos, and we will have images. Right now, I want to give a shout out to my friend Luke. He is a teacher in Virginia. He's a hardworking person. He is single. He is handsome. Hit his DMs up. Follow him on Twitter at Pukey Luke or Mr. Pukey Luke, something like that. He does our image graphics for our thumbnails for these podcast episodes on Spotify and YouTube.
Get it, Luke?
Get it. I hope you all
Little
enjoy
Luke dance.
the video. Nikki, give them you already gave them your Twitter ads, but do it one more time.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at the Nikki Sin.
And you can find me on Twitter at the Allan and Nikki, caffeineconfessionals.com for our podcast link on Spotify. Also, we also technically own the name Caffeine Confessionals with no N, double F,
Perfect.
because I'm dyslexic, which is a flat out fact. I'm actually dyslexic. I'm not like making a joke. But right before I published the first podcast on Spotify, I noticed at the last second we did not own Caffeine Confessionals, and I had to do some last minute scrambling. So we owned both for 2 years. Good for us.
Great. We'll really cover that confessional market. It's very
Yeah.
niche. We'll have to get some like real like confessional backgrounds. Like I want to know what the confessionals look like
Oh yeah, for
on
sure.
36. Steal that because right now I'm in the bunker, as you can see. I'm
Yeah.
definitely there. It's definitely not a background that I chose at all. As you can see, very real for anyone watching. Amazing graphics.
All right, Nikki, it's been fun. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, and subscribe.
Tweet me at David Dobrik.